Okay, we are rolling.
We are rolling, brother.
And sisters. Well, salute to the Gypsy King. Tyson Fury wins by 11-round stoppage against Deontay Wilder. First of all, I want to say what an exciting fight. Not that it was a close fight or anything like that, but there was an atmosphere about it all the way through that something dramatic could happen at any point. And on multiple occasions, it nearly did. First off, Deontay Wilder. That guy is made of steel. I don't think if you put that much pressure on Anthony Joshua, he gets to the 11th round. But Deontay Wilder, I mean, I believe that his team should have thrown the towel in. Anyway, Deontay Wilder won't quit. But you're going to do serious damage to the man. He's a fighter. He will not give in. They should have stopped the fight around the 7th or 8th for me. I don't think Deontay Wilder will ever be the same again. He has been beaten up badly twice by a 6'9" Goliath. Yes, he's had his moments, but he's come off on the worst of it in almost every department. Right? But credit to the spirit of Deontay Wilder. Credit again to his power, his punching power, that made this, very interesting for a good while. He started well, jabbing to the body and moving Deontay Wilder. But, didn't we say it? They've all got a plan till they get hit. And when Deontay Wilder got tagged by Tyson Fury, he became the old Deontay Wilder. But it was a better Deontay Wilder than the Deontay Wilder last time. And I think it was a slightly worse Tyson Fury, which made it a more entertaining fight. In the second fight, Fury was punch perfect, wasn't he? Tonight, he had to show grit. Bit similar to the way he did in the first fight. Lost the first round, nicked the second round, smashed Wilder up in the third round and knocked him down. Got complacent in that fourth round for me. Now, Tyson Fury is better in every way, shape or form than Deontay Wilder. Better boxer, fitter, bigger, stronger. You name it. Better boxing IQ, better jab. The only area Deontay Wilder beats him is the power in the straight right hand. But aside from that, Tyson Fury has got to give him an open goal. And he nearly did in those fourth round. And credit to Fury's trainer. He was on Tyson Fury like a rash for these things. Getting him to jab because it got scrappy at times. But it was entertaining. And just when you thought Deontay Wilder was out there, a puncher is always there. Unless you take him out. He landed a good uppercut, and that gave him a flurry. I think it was in the 8th round. You got to take your hat off to boxers. They put their life on the line to entertain us, right? What's the excuses now, though, from Deontay Wilder? That's going to be interesting. What are the excuses going to be now? Because I think he fought above. I only had him really winning 2 rounds. The rounds he scored, the knockdowns in, and the first round, but it was better than the second. And it was equal to the first. But again, it was because Tyson Fury liked the first fight in the 12th, squared up to Deontay Wilder, not in the right distance, thinking, I've got you, boy, and bam. But that's the only thing Deontay Wilder had going for him. Aside from the determination and a bit of a surprise with the jab to the body early on. But as the fight wore on, Tyson Fury just out-alphaed Deontay Wilder. Took him back to them ropes, leaned on him. It was a good, shall we say, getting the ring rust off. There was ring rust from Tyson Fury. It took him a few rounds to get going for me. Where Deontay Wilder looked on it straight away. But he needed to be, didn't he? I hope Deontay Wilder doesn't blame his trainer. He's 35 years of age, guys. He's not going to change much now. In fact, he's going to become a name for the new generation of heavyweights to knock out. Because Fury has softened the boy up. Don't be surprised if Eddie Hearn offer Deontay Wilder a chance to fight Anthony Joshua maybe in the future. You know, Joshua's technique would bother Deontay Wilder, and he has the power to hurt Deontay Wilder. Don't get me wrong, I think Deontay Wilder, if he hits Joshua with the same shots he lands on Fury, knocks Joshua out. And I don't think Joshua has the gas tank or the energy to constantly rough up Deontay Wilder the way Tyson Fury did for 11 plus rounds. But these fights are all interesting. We have to see them. I still want to see Fury, Joshua, because Tyson Fury has vulnerabilities. He's not perfect. He's shown that. And no matter what we think of AJ still has more in his locker than Deontay Wilder. Plus, he does have a punch. Might not be as big as Deontay Wilder's, but it's big. It's good enough to drop Tyson Fury. You know, Steve Cunningham could do it. Couldn't Anthony Joshua? You know? And we want to see, obviously, Tyson Fury Usyk too. We want to see all these things. We want to see Deontay Wilder, if he carries on against Usyk and AJ. But he's going to suffer, I think, from now on. He's took some real maulings in there. I personally think Tyson Fury is the man of the division. Is Usyk a bit smart, though, for this constant grappling against the ropes? Will his footwork manoeuvre him out of the clinches every time? That will be the problem. And he's fighting a high-stake IQ fighter in Usyk. A switch hitter like himself. Not Deontay Wilder. Again, doesn't have the power of Deontay Wilder, but he is capable of systematically outboxing you. I'm not saying that'll happen. I would favour Tyson Fury in that fight. But we got to see it, haven't we? But the Gypsy King reigns supreme. I predicted anywhere from rounds, 5 to 9. Deontay Wilder held in there better than I thought he would. But that's only because the corner was so frightened to throw in the towel. And let me say something about the referee. He kept breaking him up and having a go at Tyson Fury like you wouldn't believe. Strange. And the doctor that come in the ring and looked at Deontay Wilder, well, it reminded you of the Luis Ortiz first fight, didn't it? They were hoping that they could help Deontay Wilder recover enough so he could get a sneaky win. But that was never going to happen. The power even off the right hand was diminishing as the fight wore on. Fury become more Fury-esque as the fight wore on. And this is a lesson to the bodybuilders of the world, guys. Usyk and Tyson Fury has the worst looking body of the elite heavyweights. He doesn't look as good as Deontay Wilder. He doesn't look as good as AJ. He doesn't look as good as Usyk. But Usyk doesn't look as good as the other two either. Right? But he's the fittest of them all. He is. Because he works on the important things, Tyson Fury. The cardio. The constant work rate. The boxing skills. The concentration. The conditioning when he's able to take shots because of things like this. You know? Aside from Tyson Fury, on his night, I mean, we see Andy Ruiz go 12 rounds, don't we? Easily. And he's not a Greek god in terms of body either. So it's a big lesson. Sometimes a bit of meat is good for you guys. You know? Not too much. But you know what I'm saying? I don't think the 20 pounds actually harmed Deontay Wilder, you know. A lot of people are saying that, but I think the extra 20 pounds Deontay Wilder put on helped him, you know, go a little bit longer in the fight, but, you know, it was all academic in the end. Deontay Wilder didn't want to show Tyson Fury any respect, and Tyson Fury seemed a bit miffed by that, the interview with Steve Bunce after the fight on BT Sport. I wouldn't be bothered what Deontay Wilder thinks, to be honest with you. You've just beat him. Who cares? If he doesn't want to respect you, doesn't matter. You're the champion. And this is Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. It's a win for the Gypsy King. I'm out, brother. And sisters.